Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting edition of Change the F Up, where the format is never the same, and that's the way, I like it. As always, listen to this on Spreaker.com, iTunes, Player.fm, PodDirectory.com, Stitcher.com, TuneIn Radio, IW Nerd, Satchel Podcast Player, as well as Mr. NTG 1990 on YouTube. And also a big shout out to our sponsors, the one and only ProWrestlingCrate.com, where you can get one-of-a-kind memorabilia for great prices. You guys check that out. As well as AJsBelts.com, where you still have time right now, guys, to go and email them at AJsBelts@yahoo.com. Mention the Squared Circle Podcast, and you will get an exclusive deal on pre-ordering the Universal Championship and the Cruiserweight Championship belt. They are just about getting ready to get that ready to sell, getting ready to ship it out, and the shipping date will be in December, so you have until the mid-December to get this deal, so go check that out, you guys. Also, a couple shout-outs to good friends at Edgar's Dark Coffin Classics. Go check them out, especially on their TV shows on YouTube, as well as if you're in the Kenosha area, it's channel 14. And also to my co-host, the lovely Victory Bell, who actually got featured in an article. Let me just pull that up really quick. Let's see, where was that article? It's just really cool because she mentions a lot about how the LivingTheNerdLife.com actually had her as the cosplayer of the week, and she did make a mention of Change the F Up. So thank you again, Victory Bell, for all that you do and for the shout out. It's one of those things where I am completely honored by that. Alright, so this episode we're going to be talking about how I would have booked the Undertaker's last match going in to WrestleMania 33. Now, we were talking about this last week with the Squared Circle Podcast, Spencer Hart and Max Beatty. And I mentioned I was going to try to create something that would make sense to have build up from The Undertaker from this Tuesday all the way until WrestleMania 33. It's something that would make sense and something that would also be very easy for The Undertaker to do. Now, of course, I am recording this before SmackDown tomorrow night on Tuesday, so I have no idea what the announcement is going to be for The Undertaker. I don't know what he's going to have planned. I don't know what's going on. I just don't know. So this is what I would have booked. And if they go in that direction, great. If they don't, then, well, I guess, I can't really complain about that. Alright, so let's just get right into it. So we start off on the SmackDown special, in which we see The Undertaker come out, and he does this whole, gong. He's walking down to the ring. He's got the fire. He's got the lightning. He's got the smoke. And of course, he comes out, and he addresses basically his future going into WWE. And I love what Adam Blampied from What Culture said. He did this amazing promo where he said The Undertaker would say, "There comes a time when every man goes on his last ride." So it would kind of go in that direction where he says, comes a time where everybody needs to go on their last ride. They need to finally realize that this is it. This is where you finally say, I've done everything I need to accomplish and I am ready to finally end my career. And he announces that his final match will be at WrestleMania 33. Now, the thing is that he also wants to prove one more time that he can still hang with the young guns here, that he can still be that guy that everybody will be more than willing to see and more than willing to support. And that is why he says that he wants to challenge the WWE World Champion at the Royal Rumble. Whoever the champion may be, whether it be Dean Ambrose or AJ Styles, Undertaker gets the next shot. And what has he done to deserve that? He's The Undertaker. What more does he need to accomplish with that? So we already have that, and we don't see The Undertaker until about January, where we see him do one promo against AJ Styles, in the build-up to the Royal Rumble. So we have that taken care of. His opponent would be Randy Orton. Now, him and Bray Wyatt are in this kind of tag team deal where they're really trusting each other, and a lot of people are thinking, well, how long is this going to last? I am making this last all the way through past WrestleMania. Because in all honesty, you guys, I want to see something different. I want to see Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt actually team up and dominate the entire SmackDown division. So basically what happens here is that Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, and this is going to be a spoiler for my SmackDown prediction for Survivor Series, is that they win the male 5-on-5 Survivor Series matchup. They're the two men who end it. They've beaten, Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, and they even eliminate Braun Strowman. And there's a little bit of a seed planting deal there for a future feud that may possibly work out going into WrestleMania. So I'll explain that in just a bit. But yeah, Orton and Bray, they just continue to dominate everywhere they go. They beat the tag team champions, not for the titles, but they are doing it to kind of prove that they are just this dominant force. Yeah, they beat the tag team champions. They beat the Intercontinental Champion. They've beaten John Cena. They've even beaten AJ Styles. So basically, they're almost in that point of contending for the world title after Royal Rumble. We reach Royal Rumble time, and we see the world title matchup between AJ Styles and The Undertaker, and it is a good matchup. This matchup is not going to be like match of the year contender. I don't believe it might be, but this matchup will be easy on the Undertaker because AJ Styles is a safe worker, and he's one of those guys who is going to really make Undertaker look good. And plus, this is going to add prestige not only to the world title, but it's going to make AJ look so much better as a world champion. So we have this matchup, and we get to the final points of the matchup. Undertaker's hit the choke slam. He's at the last ride, and then he's finally getting ready to do the tombstone. He does the whole cutthroat taunt. He's about ready to set up for the tombstone when we do hear the wah 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 wah. Sorry, I don't have the soundbite for that, but you kind of get the idea. Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton appear in the ring, and they beat down the Undertaker. In fact, they even have the Undertaker take a Sister Abigail and follow it up into an RKO, and they throw AJ Styles on to the Undertaker for the 1, 2, 3. They've cost the Undertaker the world title. And obviously this is going to set up for something major, as I've already mentioned. So we fast forward a bit to the Royal Rumble matchup, in which we see a lot of great people entering in the Rumble. We see, of course, the Wyatt family. We see Randy Orton. We see Roman Reigns. We see Seth Rollins. We see Dean Ambrose. List goes on and on and on. During the matchup, Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, they eliminate almost half of the Royal Rumble contenders. They throw everybody one by one, throwing everybody out. They even throw Braun Strowman out again to eliminate him. Again, still planting a little bit of the seeds if they really want to have a great feud here, and I really want to see this, in all honesty. So, they're getting down to the final competitor, number 30. And, the countdown's going out to 5, 4, 3, 2. As soon as it hits 1, we hear gong. Lights go out. Lightning lights up the arena. And all it says on the Titantron is, you. And of course, Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, they're confused. They're like, what do they mean? Do they mean you, or do they mean you? They're basically pointing at each other like, who are they referring to? And this causes a major distraction, which causes them to get eliminated by Roman Reigns and Finn Balor, who will be the final two in the Royal Rumble matchup. And eventually it would be won by Finn Balor. So Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, they are obviously livid at that fact. So the next night on SmackDown, they're, of course, cutting a promo talking about The Undertaker and how he cost them the opportunity to fight for the, world title at WrestleMania. So they decide to lay out an open challenge to have him come find them at Fastlane. And we're going to actually do something very different here, because a lot of people would really like to see Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens for the Universal title at WrestleMania. That is not the direction I'm going in. See, the direction I'm going in is that Kevin Owens fights off against Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, and he loses the title to Brock Lesnar. And this will also set up Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I know, a lot of people are not exactly fans of this idea, but I really want to see this matchup. And I think that Roman Reigns is the only one who could legitimately be the guy who could beat Brock Lesnar. You saw the amount of punishment that he took from Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31, and he really should be the guy who really just beats Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. So, we have that set up for WrestleMania, so that means that Finn Balor doesn't go to Raw. He actually goes to SmackDown, and he's going to challenge AJ Styles for the World Championship. And during this whole build-up between Styles and Balor, Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, they come out, they assault him. We also get to see Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson get drafted to SmackDown. So they are coming over to SmackDown. They are going to be they're actually coming here for the deal because they want to even the odds with fellow Bullet Club members. I mean, Finn Balor was the original leader. AJ Styles was the next-gen leader. So we set up the main event for Fastlane. It is an 8-man tag team matchup in which we see AJ Styles and Finn Balor and the Club taking on the Wyatt family and Randy Orton. Hopefully by this time, Eric Rowan is back at 100%. If not, we may have to substitute him with Baron Corbin. I think that would be really good for Baron Corbin to have a main event level caliber matchup under his belt. Plus, I think he really does deserve it. So, we set this matchup up, and everything goes in the Wyatt's, Corbin, Orton's way. You get what I mean. It goes into the heels' way. They're beating down Styles, they're beating down Balor, they're beating down the Club, and it seems like it is just about to be over. We see Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, they are just ready to just destroy the Club. They're ready to destroy the Club in WWE. They're ready to go. And earlier in the night, they actually called out the Undertaker, who doesn't show up. Instead, we see this whole setup where, Bray Wyatt does his little spider walk deal, and we see Randy Orton doing his little pounding on the ground, doing ready for the RKO. Then we see gong. Lights go out, and then the lights go back on, in which we see everybody has left the ring. Everybody seemingly disappeared. And we see Randy Orton in the ring all by himself, and Undertaker has appeared, in which we see the Undertaker look dead into Randy Orton's eyes. He does his little cutthroat deal. Randy Orton wants to do the RKO, but Undertaker picks him up, tombstones Randy Orton in the middle of the ring, and then we see gong, lights go out, and then they come back on, and it's almost like Randy Orton was like transported into this parallel universe because everybody's back there. Everybody's back in the ring. And Bray Wyatt's, of course, thinking, what just happened? What's going on? Styles hits a phenomenal forearm on Bray Wyatt, taking him out. The Club takes out the rest of the Wyatt family, or Baron Corbin, and Finn Balor hits the coup de grace on Randy Orton for the 1, 2, 3. So Undertaker has made it his intention to fight Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And now we get into the build-up to WrestleMania, in which we only see graphic deals with The Undertaker. We don't see him actually make a physical presence, because he is getting ready physically. He wants to be at his best, and I think that's the best way to do it. Don't have him come on just to be this guy who gets beaten down like a week before WrestleMania, because that's too typical. But we also get to see not much of Randy Orton and the Wyatt family. Instead, we see Bray Wyatt take Randy Orton out to the old shack that they always had, blah, blah, blah. And he